Oh, man, he's just got a good attitude, positive vibes.
The beard looks trimmer. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, maybe he trimmed the beard down. Maybe that's what it is.
Nets, Cavs, Part 2, as Brooklyn seeks revenge. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Atlanta studio. This is Game Time Live, presented by State Farm. We've got Cole's daddy.
That don't even sound right.
Greg?
How about Cole's dad?
Greg?
How about daddy? My little kids call me daddy, not the old one.
Oh.
That rubbed me the wrong way. But I do appreciate you.
It's Greg? Is that it?
Yeah, you can go with Greg and them.
I'm Jared Greenberg, and joining us from his palatial estate and somewhere in the middle of the Carolinas is NBA champion Brendan Haywood. B. Wood, great to be with us here tonight. Can't wait for crunch time tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific, when we really get our arms around what's happening in the NBA and our finger on the pulse of what's happening tonight in the NBA. But leading up to crunch time, fellas, all eyes on Brooklyn tonight. No Kevin Durant, B. Wood, because he played 50 minutes the other night as he witnessed the Colin Sexton show, and they got to do it again, taking on Sexton, B. Wood.
Listen, Sexton was absolutely incredible. For him to do what he did, he knew the whole NBA was watching. Everybody wanted to see the big three together for the first time, and Colin Sexton stole the show. Colin Sexton, wearing Kyrie Irving's, on Kyrie Irving night, decided to get the better of Kyrie Irving in a fashion that I have yet to see before from this young man. 20 straight points, 15. He had 15 of those in OT. That was one of the better regular season performance I think I've ever seen. A guy to hit the shot to put the game in overtime. I've seen a lot of great performances, but that's up there, one of the best regular season, not all time, but one of the best regular season performances I've ever seen.
Well, let's get Steve Nash's thoughts on the other side of the ball. We know they could score. Nash moments ago, heading into tonight's matchup with Cleveland, talking to reporters about the lack of D.
Our defense was poor. Too many errors, mental errors, not talking, allowing your man to straight line drive to the basket, back cut, all sorts of kind of fundamental sins. So we got to clean up a lot of that and just really take pride defensively more than we did last time out.
GA, it's really hard these days to sell the modern basketball player on the idea that defense still wins championships, particularly when you've got three guys who go out and score 96 points like they did the other night, but they lost. So is the defensive aspect here overblown, or does this team need to play a little more D?
No, it's not overblown. And I will say this, Jared. It's not difficult to do that with these guys because they've all experienced the importance of defense in their careers. If you go back to that 1 year where James Harden, they go 65-17 with Chris Paul, they were one of the top three defenses in the league. Right. They were that because of their defense. When Kevin Durant went to Golden State, they were always one of the better defensive teams in that entire run that they had. And then, obviously, when you look at Kyrie and LeBron and their championship, that seventh game, they held the Warriors to 89 points. Like, those guys get it. They know they have to be better defensively. What happens, though, and the hard part is when you look at this season and how it's playing out, they don't have time to practice. They don't have time to create culture and build good habits defensively. And so what you just saw from Steve Nash is all they're getting from Steve Nash. Guys, we got to do this better. We got to be better on this. You're not drilling. You're not really establishing your culture and your identity defensively because you didn't have a normal training camp, right? You didn't get to come in and put your philosophy and imprint that on everybody. So they're going to be doing this kind of like trial by fire, and there's just no guarantee. I will guarantee you this. They're going to make some personnel moves eventually because they're going to have to bring guys in with that mindset and the confidence to be able to play in those big moments when it matters.
So the other night, B. Wood, Harden took just 14 shots. He was playing more of a facilitator role with those 12 assists. KD took 25 shots. He's not playing tonight again, resting after playing 50 minutes. Kyrie took 28 shots. So with KD and Harden in the lineup, Kyrie took 28 shots. With KD out tonight, B. Wood, does Kyrie take more than 30 shots?
I'm not sure. I think Kyrie took a lot of those shots because he started off the game hot. He was 8 for 10 to start the game off. But, you know, these two guys, there's going to be plenty of shots available with Kevin Durant not playing. So I think that could Kyrie take 30 shots? Yes. But will he? I doubt it. I think Kyrie wants to win. I think that he's going to take the shots that he normally is used to taking and making. And people are talking about the amount of shots he took. He shot a great percentage and had 37. So it's one of those things right now. Everybody wants to go against Kyrie. Yes, he's been gone. He's made an enemy of certain people in the media. So he's going to get a lot of scrutiny right now. I'm just looking forward to seeing these guys come together, mesh as a unit. And I think Greg had the best point ever. This big three is trying to put it together on the fly. Most big threes are put together in the offseason. So they have time to talk in the offseason, maybe work out together. Hey, go to training camp. You know, the month before training camp, guys are all in town working out. Then you get the preseason. These guys didn't get that. So they're trying to figure out, is it my turn? Is it your turn? Who guards who defensively? What's our defensive philosophy? So it's going to take some time, but I think that Kyrie's going to eventually, I'm not going to say think, I'm hoping he buys in and that they become a better team from a defensive aspect and a team aspect as far as sharing the basket.
And B. Wood, I'm glad you recognize that brilliant point I made. But to your point,
I know brilliance when I see it.
Hey, no, but to your point, like the thing that, listen, if we get beyond, and it's going to take some time, to what just transpired with Kyrie and him being, you know, out of pocket there for a little while. Right. The reality is this: these guys have the highest of the high basketball IQ. Like what you saw last night was the ball going to where it was supposed to offensively. They scored 135. Those guys were all efficient with it, and what's going to happen, and this is almost like USA basketball for them. Like all these guys have played, the game's easier for them. His shot quality when he plays with those two guys, much higher. Same for Durant, same for Harden. And so they're going to let the game dictate who gets what shots. And like Brendan said, Kyrie started off 8 for 10. Well, he's going to keep getting touches. Doesn't matter who he's playing with. If he's with LeBron. And people forget, when he was LeBron's teammate, he actually took more shots per game.
He was the first LeBron teammate
than LeBron. And so and they made it work. So I don't think there's an issue here. And those guys also know, look, they're going to be nice where Kyrie has the better matchup. Right. You know, to be able to go and score the basketball. And they don't have a lot of other options offensively right now.
Right.
So those three guys are going to have to be efficient. This is all about their defense, and can they get to a point? They don't have to be a top 3 defense, but they got to probably get to that top 10, top 12 with the firepower they have.
Well, hey, GA, I'm looking for two things from this big three also. Every big three that I've seen and that has been successful has had two things: leadership and sacrifice. One person, if you talk to a man in Boston who was the leader, everybody would say Kevin Garnett when they had that big three. And the person that had to sacrifice the most, Ray Allen. He had to sacrifice the most out of that crew. You know, when you look at Miami, they'll tell you D Wade was the leader. Person that had to sacrifice the most, Chris Bosh. He had to change his game. Chris Bosh wasn't shooting corner threes in Toronto, people. Right. He had to change his game to fit in with LeBron and take less shots. I want to see who's going to emerge as the leader, and then on who's going to sacrifice. I'm not saying you have to worry about who's the man, but some guys on certain nights, somebody's got to say, I know you guys are rolling. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with just not maybe having 17 or 18. It's okay.
Yeah, you know, the one thing about this big three, though, I don't know that we've ever seen a trio as offensively gifted as this. You could argue, and it's a great argument. All three of those guys are arguably the best at their position offensively, like in terms of being able to score the basketball. You could make that argument.
You got Kyrie ahead of Steph?
No, I said you could. Again, you not see. Get clean that wax out now. I said you could make the argument. I will say this to you, and this is a great line Phil Jackson had, because I used to ask, I say, well, who was better, Michael or Kobe? And Phil would be political, but he said, you know what? Michael was better without the basketball. Kobe was better with it. And I'd say the same thing about Kyrie and Steph. Steph's better without the basketball.
Right.
But you cannot tell me that there's anybody playing that guard position that has more of a repertoire offensively than Kyrie Irving. I'm sorry, that person don't exist. There are people in that same category, and you can say the same thing at the 2 guard with James Harden, and you can obviously say it with Kevin Durant at the small forward. Like, You could say those are the three best. You could argue they're the three best offensive players at their position.
You know, it's amazing. We can't see him right now, but Brendan Haywood does not drink, yet he's got a bitter beer face right now. Where this is coming from.
Hey, GA's my guy. All I'm saying is the unanimous MVP don't go as far as it used to. That's all I'm saying.
No. Listen, I'm not taking anything from him, but I'm just making a point. I mean, even this year, we're talking about Kyrie. Kyrie's 28, 6 and 5, shooting 52, 42, 96. You know, that I'm just saying.
In 8 games played.
Okay.
Well, look at his career numbers.
Let me just point out one thing, because let me give some love here to Colin Sexton real quick, because
oh yeah,
he deserves it. After 42, keep this in mind, he missed the previous 5